A good Erev Yom Tov, everyone. The last of the Shloshis Me'agbala. The best thing to do now is to learn. One might want to sleep a little bit in order to be ready to stay up the whole night tonight, Be'ezus Hashem. But best achana for Kabbalas HaTorah is to learn Torah, and therefore we do this special segment which we will call for the Shavuos Table. It shouldn't be confused. There was already a share called for the Shabbos Shavuos Table, but now we're doing for the Shavuos Table 5784, sponsored by the Rubin family for their to be zeicha to a ben zachar, a healthy ben zachar, a healthy mommy, healthy baby, and to have atzlach and ruchnius and gashmias. So, how do we get ready for Shavuos? Shavuos is this remarkable opportunity. The Psik de Zuta says in V'eschanan that just like on Pesach, we all know there's a tremendous mitzvah of imagination, and that is Chayiv Adam Liroises Atzmoi Ke'ilu Hu Yotzim Mitzrayim. We're supposed to envision as if we left from Egypt. So too the Psikta says the same way, Chayiv Adam Liroises Atzmai, we should view ourselves on Shavuos as if we are once again accepting the Torah anew from Har Sinai. Now this is not just simply an imagination. The fact of the matter is that Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says a very fascinating thing. He says that the reality of that every Shavuos, it's as if the Torah is given again anew, has halachic ramifications. So interesting. The Gemara in Shabbos in Daf Kufchot Tes Amid Beis says that Chakozas Dam. Now we don't do this today, but in the olden days, bloodletting was a popular way to relieve fever and sickness, and also to give person renewed health and vigor. And it was very common. It tells us that Ameimer, Rav Ashi, they used to go let blood. The Gemara in Masechtas Nida learns out from it the color of Dam Nida. And so the Gemara in Shabbos on Daf Kufchos Tes Amid Beis says that to go to a bloodletter on Erev Shavuos is a sakon, is dangerous. The Gemara says, why? Because there's a malach chabola called tavuach, from the lashon of slaughter, tivcha, that has reshus to damage on Erev Shavuos. Why? Why is that? Because the malach tavuach was ready to attack if Klal Yisrael would be like the other nations and not accept the Torah. So, and because of that, the Gemara says we don't do any bloodletting any Erev Yom Tov, so that you shouldn't come to do it on Erev Shavuos. So, the Machzah Shekel, one of the major pirushim on the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Tov Reish Samach Yud, says, what does that have to do with now? Okay, that would be a Erev Matan Torah. What does it have to do with now? So says the Machzah Shekel that Koyach Shel Matan Torah Chayzer B'Kol Shana. The strength of the giving of the Torah reawakens every year. Now you'll say, but we did accept the Torah, so what is the Malach of Tavuach being there? It could be, and this is a conjecture, it could be that the Malach Tavuach, the dangerous angel, is there for individuals that are not interested in accepting the Torah. But the bottom line is, as we see from here, a tremendous lesson that since the Malach is around to the point, says Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, that halachically you're not allowed to do bloodletting on Erev Shavuos, that's a proof that even in a practical way, the giving of the Torah happens every year on Shavuos. And the famous drasha from Reb Aaron Karlin, Reb Aaron Karlin says that that's why it says Moshe Yedaber, V'Elokim Yanenu B'Kol. Moshe spoke, and Hashem answered with a voice. But it should say Moshe Diber. What Moshe Yedaber is in the future. Moshe Yedaber, Moshe will speak. And says Reb Aaron Karlin, because it happens, it reawakens every single year. It's a really amazing thing. Now, if it's true, says Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, that the negative aspects of Matan Torah happens every year, like the Malach Tivcha, so then Meruba Mida Tova Memidas Piraniyos, the amazing things that happened at Har Sinai, also reoccur every year. And as the Pirkei Rebbe Eliezer said, that at Har Sinai everybody was cured from their blemishes, even people that couldn't see were able to see. So there's, of course, tremendous good that's there for the taking on Shavuos. Now, to give you an example, and this is so exciting, there's Yerushalmi in Rosh Hashanah. Yerushalmi Rosh Hashanah, Perek Daled, Halacha Ches, Amar Rav Mishashia b'Shem Ravidi. Rav Mishashia says in the name Ravidi, B'Kol HaKorbanos Ksiv Chet. All the korbanos that are brought on Yom Tov, the Musafin, it says Chet, like Sirizim Lechatas, except for on Shavuos. It's an amazing thing. On Shavuos it says, Seir izim echad lechaper aleichem, but it doesn't say lechatas. Why is chatas omitted? You have to be a detective to notice this. But Rav Mishashia says in the Yerushalmi that there is a glaring omission that it doesn't use the word chet just by Shavuos. It says by all the other Yom Tovim Seir izim lechatas for a sin, but on Shavuos, it's careful to omit it. Sir izim echad lechaper aleichem, to atone for you, but doesn't say sin. And by the way, this that we learn from the Torah, not just by what it says, but by what it omits, is the pshat that they say that the Torah is given eish chayra al eish levana, black fire on white fire. And the black fire, of course, refers to the words, and the white fire is the parchment. So you ask, what do you learn from the white fire? The parchment is blank. And the answer is, we learn from what it doesn't say. For example, we learn a lot of things from the fact that the Torah omits the story of the Kishva Na'esh, only alluding to it, Amraphel or Kaznim, but doesn't say it. Because people shouldn't do like Avram and break idols to get themselves arrested and put to death. Just then it was necessary because Avraham Avinu was introducing the belief of a one God to the world. So why was Chatas omitted? So listen to the amazing lesson of the Yerushalmi. Amalem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mikevan shekabaltem aleichem ol Torah, once you accept the yoke of Torah, Ma'ala ani aleichem ki ilu leichatosem miyameichem. I consider it as if you haven't sinned all your days. So here we have an amazing opportunity that if we make a new Kabbalah Satira. Now, what does it mean, a new Kabbalah Satira? A new Kabbalah Satira means that, first of all, we say to ourselves, from now on, I'm not going to go 12 hours without learning Torah. We know that Hashem is going to ask, Kavati itam la Torah. So it's now we're going to go a shir here, a shir there, a shmek here, a shmek there. I'm going to make sure not to go 12 hours without learning. That's, first of all, a Kabbalah of Old Torah. A second Kabbalah is that we start get serious about learning projects. There's great opportunities coming up. You know, we're up to now above Metzia Kuf Dalet. But Metzia Kuf Dalet, but Metzia ends at Kuf Yutes. We're about to start Bava Basra in the Daf Yomi. What a glorious time to start Daf Yomi. First of all, it's a great time. Bava Basra is small blätter, a lot of small blätter, so it's easy to finish the blot and concentrate it and get it understood. Also, then comes the fascinating Masechta of Sanhedrin, and we have Makis. I mean, it's really exciting times to start Daf Yomi. Or a person says, we just started Chumash Shmos, I better get back on the bandwagon of being Mavas Sedra. But it says that when we're Mekabel the Torah, Malani Aleichem Kilo Loichatosim Yamechem, Hashem wipes the slate clean. That's what we have coming up for us on Shavuos. And I wanted to suggest it could be because we know Matan Torah is like a marriage between us and the Torah, between us and Hashem, because Kutch B'richu V'Rais Achadu. So we're the Chassan. Chassan. You know what the Chassan gets? What does the Chassan get? Or the Kala. Either way you want to look at it. You look at Shir Hashirim. The Kala. What is it? What is the Chassan Kala get? Mechilas Avainas. That's why the Svardim read a Ksuva on Shavuos by night. And it's a Ksuva between us and the Eibishter. So it's an amazing opportunity for Mechilas Avainas. And by the way, don't think this just Yerushalmi. The Rabbeinu Chananel in Bavli Rosh Hashanah Lamed Hey brings this down. It's also a Medrash in Shir Hashirim. The Rekach says because of this Mechilas Avainas, that's why it's forbidden to fast on Shavuos. Hakol Moedim the Ba'atzeres Ba'inon Lachem. You need to have at least Chatzi Lachem. The Sefer Binyan Olam, talking about opportunities, brings down from the ancient Sefer Tzror HaChaim that on this day it's mesugel to ask Hashem to give us our chelik in our Torah. We should connect to what our chelik. Everybody has their chelik. Some people are more cut out for lumdas. Some people are more cut out for halacha. Some people are more cut out for agadita. But everybody has their chelik in Torah. We could ask Hashem for the Shalach Kadosh says we could ask Hashem for the Keser Torah on Shavuos. Rabbi Zalman Meltzer says that from the Ram that on Shavuos is the din Torah of Torah. You know, we just finished in the Mishnah Yomis. That's another project somebody could take upon themselves. We just finished in the Mishnah Yomis Masechta Saita, and the very last Mishnah of the Masechta, it says, Keshemeis Reb Meir Botlu Moishlei Meshalem. When Reb Meir passed away, there ceased to exist those that make penetrating parables. As a matter of fact, parables were so important in Reb Meir's delivery of Torah, Reb Meir Eini Agayla, that it says that when he taught a third halachas, a third mishalem, and a third agadita. So the power of a mashal cannot be described. So the great Maggid, Rabbi Elimelech Biederman, gives a fascinating mashal. He says about a wealthy man who went to the Rosh Yeshiva of the yeshiva in his town, and he said, I want to get a son-in-law. I'm willing to support for life. I want a son-in-law that is a great learner, a Bal Midas. So the Rosh Yeshiva, knowing that this man was indeed a good man and very wealthy, he picked one of his best boys, all-around boys, and he sent him with this man back home. So the man gives the young man, the wealthy man gives the young man a spacious apartment. He gives him an expense account in the fanciest clothing stores. He also gives him a credit card for any of his needs. And he sends over the most sumptuous meals. And he gives him all the svarim, a library that he needs. And he says, please learn well. So the young man was a little bit confused that he wasn't shown the young lady yet, the Kala. But he figured, well, maybe the father-in-law is first, wants to test him out and sniff him out. And it comes Shabbos, and the wealthy man introduces, this is my son-in-law. People look a little strange at that, but okay. And Sunday, Monday, and the bacher is becoming increasingly confused and perplexed. Why isn't he getting to meet his future Kala? Finally, after a week goes by, he says to the rich man, when will I get to meet my bride? So the rich man looks at him confused and he says, what? He says, your daughter. So the rich man says, I don't have a daughter. I only have 7 sons. So the bacher now looks at him and says, so why am I here? So he says, well, everybody else has, all my peers, all my wealthy friends have a rich Adam. I also wanted a rich Adam. Now, as ridiculous as this sounds, for many of us, that's the way we approach Shavuos. Says Rabbi Elimelech in his penetrating way. We got the blintzes, and we got the flowers, and we got the cheesecake, and we got a new suit and a new hat, and everything's ready. Hi, but where's the Kala? Where's the Kala? Where's the Torah? We have to be ready to make a commitment to Torah. It's a very big thing. We don't want to be Iker Chosim in our Sefer. A person, when they come to Shavuos, they have to be thinking, their mind has to be churning. So how am I going to have an uppick in my Torah involvement? Where in the day could I add a little extra learning? What Sefer could I add? Maybe want to add a little bit of a Mussar Sefer. Let's go put out an English Pele Yoetz. Maybe I should pick it up and learn with it a little bit with my wife. Maybe I should make a Seder to look through some of the tshuvas, maybe of Rav Moshe. Maybe it'll give me a little extra feel for halacha. Maybe I should think about Dirshu Mishnah Brura, or maybe it's a good time to think about Amud Yomi or Kinyan Masechta or Oraisa, if the slower approach works for you. But how am I going to have an uppick? Maybe I should start thinking about learning. I'm looking to put out a sefer on Shemona Esrei, and it was born from the fact that I made a seder to look at my davening and work on it a few minutes every day. Those few minutes add up, but you have to make up to do it. The Chidush Harim also says something very penetrating, very penetrating. The Chidush Harim says that there's a machloikis in Mesetas, talking about Bava Basra, on Daf Ayin Hey. There's a machloikis, when you buy a field from someone, did you get also the right of way to the field, or do you have to buy that later? But everybody agrees that if somebody gives you a field as a gift, then they give you the derech, the path to the field too, because a gift is given ba'ayin yafa, with a generous eye. Says the Chidush Harim, Zech Tzav Kodesh Brachas Chusiyagin Aleinu Heilige Rebbe. The Rabbeinu Shalom gives us the Torah as a gift. Baruch Atah Hashem, no, you say not Torah. He gives us the Torah as a gift. Oh, a gift? Then you could be sure He gave us the derech, the access to that gift. Because Hashem gives v'ayin yafa. Nobody should say, I can't do it, it's too schwer, I don't have the zitzvleish, I don't have the head. Hashem gave us the gift, He gives us the derech to the gift. We just have to get working. Tamuru! You have to taste it and see. Ki toiv. It's good. Ein toiv el Torah. Hoi kol tzomei l'chul hamayim. Okay, I want to talk to you. The name of this Yom Tov is Atzeres. One of its names is, we say, I call Moedim that the Atzeres, but Inon Lachem, Atzeres. And the reason is, of course, because the Targum of Shavuos Seichem is Ba'atzro Seichon. So one of the names of Yom Tov is Atzeres. Kedushas Levi says Atzeres means to hold back. And the Kedushas Levi, Kedushas Levi, Zertzav Kodesh Brachos, was young Elenu, says that the only mitzvah of this Yom Tov, we don't have lulav, we don't have etzvig, we don't have matzah, we don't have sukkah. The only mitzvah is not to do malacha. Outside of the Beis Mikdash, we have the Shtei Alechem, the Kivsei Atzeres, but outside of the Beis Mikdash, it's not to do malacha. And that's Atzeres, to hold back. That's why it's called Atzeres. But I want to suggest another reason. Because it's on this Yom Tov that we were given the koyach to hold back against sin. We were given the koyach not to look at what we shouldn't look at, not to listen what we're not supposed to listen to, not to raise our voice in the home, not to talk bad about other people. Where is the koyach to deal with the Yetzer Hara? So the Gemara in Kedushin says that's a Torah. Barasi Yetzer Hara, barasi Torah tavlin la. I created the Yetzer Hara and I created Torah as its antidote. And therefore, the koyach latzar es atzmeinu, to hold ourselves back, comes from this Yom Tov, comes from the Torah. That's why it's called Shavuos. The Sefer Eitzes HaTorah asks an interesting question, really interesting question. It says, Barasi Yetzer Hara, barasi Torah tavlin. I created the Yetzer Hara. I created the Torah as its literal meaning is its spice. Now, the Torah deals with the Yetzer Hara because the Torah is fire, and we know that the Yetzer Hara is a fire. When Rav Amram Chasida was tempted when he bested the Yetzer Hara, he demanded that the Yetzer Hara comes out of him, and it came out of him like an Amuda Denura. So the Yetzer Hara is a fire. You fight fire with fire. That's why Torah is fire, right? Eish das lamo, a fiery law to his people. Torah is also mayim, right? It's called samei l'chula mayim, and mayim el Torah. So the water of Torah puts out the fire. So it's fire, it's water. Why do we just say it's tavlin, it's spice? Torah is not more than spice. Ki em chayenu v'yarech yameinu eitz chayim ilma chazikim ba. Eitzes HaTorah says a peldik pshat. He says the Yetzer Hara comes at us with all kinds of things to try that we shouldn't learn Torah. The Yetzer Hara comes at us with all kinds of temptations, with all kinds of takbulos, with all kinds of machinations. He says the answer is that the Torah has to be misukim midvash v'noifes sufim. It has to be sweeter than honey, and the sweetest honeycombs. Because when the Torah is sweet, then we don't fall to temptation. Because nothing answers pleasure. If the Torah is the zenith, is the pinnacle of ecstasy, then we won't be tempted. That's why David HaMelech says, Acha shalti meisa Hashem oisa avakesh. Shifti beveis Hashem kol yemei chayai lachsois b'noyam Hashem. It should be the sweetness of Hashem. So when the Torah is taka, a tavlin, so then we win over the Yetzer Hara. And that's why in Birchas HaTorah we say, V'harev no Hashem Elokeinu as divrei seirascha b'finu. Should make it sweet, the words of Torah in your mouth. It should be sweet, as we're joined by my granddaughter. It should be sweet, the words of Torah in our mouth, because when it's, and of course we also say, U'v'fias amcha beis Yisrael. We ask for our children, our grandchildren, that the Torah should be a sweet experience, because when it's a sweet experience, then we don't have a trouble with the Yetzer Hara. Now, there are reasons why the Torah isn't sweet to people. First of all, we have to know that the Taisus Harash, The Tosfos Arash asks a question. He says that why is it that by Har Sinai there was smoke, choshech, anon, clouds, kolos, broken thunders and lightning? That's a very spooky backdrop. Torah's are, right? By Esar says the Balaturm is Batayra, right? Ein or el Torah, kineh mitzvah of a Torah are. How come the backdrop of Har Sinai wasn't sun, wasn't swirling kruvim, wasn't rainbows? And the Tosfos Arash says a very, very fundamental answer. He says it's because we would sin right afterward with the Chet HaEgel, with the golden calf. And since we sinned with the golden calf, we didn't merit to see the Or Torah. Now you'll say right away, wait a second, Rabbi Weiss. But the fact of the matter is that the Torah only punishes us by Asher Hu Sham, when we do the crime. Right? That's why we learn the story of Yishmael on Rosh Hashanah. He only punishes when we do the crime, not ahead of time. It's true. It's a punishment. But if you want the Cheshek HaTorah, the Gishmak from Torah, the Ziskait from Torah, oh, that's different. Then you got to keep the Torah. If you don't keep the Torah, then you don't get that Gishmak. You don't get that Ziskait from Torah. And therefore, they didn't merit to get that light by Har Sinai. It was darkness and smoke. And that's why some people, they learn Torah, but they feel it's a burden. Don't get the Geshmak, because if they go home, and after they learn, they yell at their wives. Or they learn and then they go to business and they're not ehrlich, or they lie, or they connive. Or they learn and then afterwards, before they even go away from the shir, they talk Lashon Hara with people. They're not getting the ziskait of the Torah. It's not accessible to them. It's dark, it's black, but they're not getting the Mesikas HaTorah. That's a very big thing. That's why we say the declaration Nasa v'nishma. We have to have the Nasa in order to get the Nishma. That's why it says Derech Eretz Kadma LaTorah. Derech Eretz has to be before the Torah. Just want to tell you a few very quick other things that could stop the Mesikas HaTorah. A person who learns but doesn't make sure that their body is clean. They don't have a guf naki. Well, you're not supposed to learn when you don't have a guf naki. So if you're learning without a guf naki, then you're going to be in trouble, right? It's going to affect your learning. Also, it has to be a mouth that is a pure mouth, not a mouth, right? Because ein kategenas saneger has to be a mouth that doesn't lie, that doesn't yell, that doesn't do oinas devarim. Also, it's important that the mind should be good. The mind shouldn't be polluted with sinful things or sinful thoughts. It shouldn't be polluted with thoughts of grudges and hatred and vengeance and immorality. Then there's a big chance that a person could get the Geshmak from Torah. I want to tell you that there's another way besides Torah that we could battle the Yetzer Hara. It's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah Daf Hey. The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah Daf Hey, Ashreyem Yisrael, fortunate is Yisrael, Bizman she'asukim b'Torah b'gemilas chasadim, when they're Isaac in Torah and kindliness, Yitzra Maser Biyadim, their passion is delivered in their hands, their evil inclination is delivered to them. The aim heim misurim b'dei Yitzra, they're not delivered into their passion. So besides Torah, there's another way, and that's why on Atzeres we learn Rus, because Megillah Zu ein bo loy tumah v'loy tara v'loy yisra v'loy heter. Why does it come? Oh, the reward of doing kindness. That's another way to battle the Yetzer Hara. Another name, is the name we all know, Shavuos. Why is it called Shavuos? First of all, of course, it's because it's the culmination of 7 weeks, Shavuos. It's also because it means oaths, because we took an oath to Hashem that we wouldn't switch him for another God, and he took an oath to us that he won't switch us for another nation. It's called Shavuos because Shaboy Ace, it is the meaning of time. Meaning of time is to spend time with Torah, because Hashem loves us and he wants us to do what will be the utmost joy. And simcha k'simchas haTorah ve'agisa b'yomim v'layla. But I want to suggest something else. Shavuos is from the lashon of svius, satisfaction. The truest satisfaction. So many people suffer in life of being unhappy because they feel unfulfilled. Happiness, satisfaction comes from Torah. Torah is Hashem Tamima Meshivas Nafesh. It satisfies the soul. It restores and rejuvenates the soul. I believe that this is the reason that it says in Shulchan Aruch in the Ramah Siman Tov Tzadid Dal Sif Gimel, V'noigim l'shtoyach asovim b'shvuos b'beis hakneses. They spread grass in shul. Zeichel is simchas matan Torah. The Shalach Kodesh says this is because there was a miracle that in the barren desert they grew around grazing around Har Sinai. We know because it says Gam atzayin v'abakar al yiru shouldn't graze. So that means that grass miraculously grew. However, but look at this. It says in the Ramah, Zeichel is simchas matan Torah, because asavim, I believe, is the same letters as sveim, to be full. It reminds us how we could be full from the Torah. I want to bless everybody. First of all, I want to thank the Rubin family for granting us this segment called For the Shabbos Table. I want to thank you all to join us. We should be all zoicha to be mekabel the Torah ba'ava. If you belong to my Zoom daf or you want to join us, we'll learn Tublat Matzi Yom Tov. That's Thursday night at 10:35, and we should have a For the Shabbos Table Nasa on Friday. If you want to sponsor any of my shiurim, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful Yom Tov.